You and Your Health is brought to you by Doctors Save a Life Foundation. Save a Life Foundation is an NGO with a unique vision of giving total health for all through the power of knowledge. Your health is your strength. Your health is your prosperity. Your health is your life. Give it professional attention. You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Hello, it's my pleasure to welcome you in this wonderful edition of Operation None Shall Be Barren in the Land. I'm Dr. Richard Okoye, the president of Doctors Save a Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization with a clear vision of giving total health to the people of Africa through the power of knowledge. We come up with this very idea considering the devastation, the frustration, and the depression people have suffered with respect to delay in childbearing, and also merchants taking advantage of people, telling all manner of things on the street that this is responsible for your problem. Also some spiritual merchants try to paint a picture that everything happening to you is devil attack. I want you just to sit down to know. Listen to me. The Lord said, thou shalt know the truth. And it is the truth you know is what will set you free. And he said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. What you may be passing through with respect to what we are going to discuss today on childbearing, on infertility, has to do with what you do not know. Well, it's better we start from the known before we go to the unknown. There are a lot of things that can stop a man, a woman from being able to achieve pregnancy. And today, we're going to look at the aspect of infertility in women. We're also going to look at what are the causes of this problem, what are the things you need to do in order to know about these causes, and how do you calculate your ovulation period to know when you ought to get pregnant and when you ought not to get pregnant. And finally, also from this very program, you will also understand the latest technology, even in the worst case scenario, on how you can still achieve pregnancy and fulfill the purpose of God in your life. He said, there shall be none barren in the land. If he says so, he has made all things available to make it happen. I want you just to watch this very video, sit down, listen to it, take note. For the areas that are of a concern to you, you can also send us queries with respect to that. We are willing to answer you. We are looking forward to see you live a happy, fruitful, and enjoyable marital relationship. Watch this video and get back to me on what you have learned from it. God bless you.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Hello, my pleasure to welcome you in this special edition that has to do with the issue of infertility in women. I'm Dr. Richard Okoye, the president of Doctors Save a Life Foundation, a non-governmental organization with a clear vision of giving total health to the people of Africa through the power of knowledge. The burden to expose the dangers our society is facing today with respect to infertility came up from a report that was actually published in 2003, which stated that by the year 2020, 2/3 of couples that marry in sub-Saharan Africa, where Nigeria also belongs, will live and die without a child. Then when he came up, he looked exaggerated. So many people say, come on, how could this be? But you can understand today that if you look at the statistics of infertility in our environment, in our churches, in our families, you discover that it's growing with a huge concern. Everyone is worried that out of 3 marriages, 1 out of them will have issue that has to do with infertility or delay in childbearing. But I'll tell you something, and let me unveil to you why this very video is being packaged for you. Listen. The Bible declares something. It said that the problem you are passing through is common to all men. Number one, you need to realize that you are passing through a state of infertility, or you are a loved one or someone you know they are passing through this condition, it does not mean it's a peculiar problem to the person. No. Listen, this has been, before we came into the world, there has been a history of infertility. Right from Bible history, it was mentioned. So it's not a new thing. He said it's common to all men. But one thing God said, he said he will not suffer you beyond that you are able, but in the midst of these very challenges, in the midst of this trial, that he will make a way of escape. So one thing is that we should be able to come to a point where we will know what to do and also to know the way of escape. Has somebody married for 10 years? It's not a testimony for Christ's sake. You know, we've married for 10 years, no child. We married for 20 years, no child. Though God is keeping us together. Of course, you ought to be together. That is the fundamental reason why you got married and both of you become one flesh. But we are looking at the things that also beautify that particular relationship, which is your expectation. How do you go about it? That's one of the things I will unveil to us today on the causes and also possible treatment of infertility. Now, this video will give you the opportunity, number one, to know why people stay 10 years in marriage, no child. Whereas what is their problem, if tackle the first year, can give them a testimony. This also will enable you avoid a lot of frustrations that actually got people that love themselves on the day one, being together, see the best thing God has done to them by bringing them together. Suddenly it becomes as if they are mistakes to each other, which has never been the case. But just because there is a challenge, and that challenge appear overwhelming, poorly explained, poorly understood, poorly managed, and poorly addressed, it becomes a problem. We will be in position to shorten such a frustration, frustrate also the efforts of the enemy that want to intrude into your marriage, speaking what under normal circumstances they do not have what it takes to speak. In our previous edition, we discussed about the problem of men, a very fantastic one. Mind-blowing and eye-opening also, that are giving testimonies to so many people. If you don't have that particular edition, look out for it. The causes of infertility and the latest solution to them also in men is available. Now, in this very edition, we're going to look at what could make a woman born to have children suddenly not being able to have one, or have one and start struggling for more. What is actually responsible for that? All right. Now, to help you understand that, you need to understand the reproductive system of a woman. There are 5 cardinal organs in a woman's body that should be functional, that should be in position to be producing what it ought to produce to enable that woman achieve pregnancy. If one of them goes wrong, I tell you, it may bring delay, or, normal occasion, it may be without a child. Now, can you have a look at this? This is what is called a female reproductive system. Okay? And we're going to monitor some things. And number one, that this woman, to be able to become a mother in future, number one, must have a vagina. Second one also is that this woman will have a womb. And that is, you can see the womb there. And also, this woman will have a fallopian tube. And this fallopian tube, if you go down, you see that whitish one is also called the ovaries. And there's one other thing that which people do not understand, and that has to be the role of a woman's brain, a particular portion of a woman's brain that is called anterior pituitary. They also contribute immensely to the issue of a woman's capacity to achieve pregnancy. So the brain also has a role to play. Now, let's look at this one after another. Number one is that for a woman to achieve pregnancy, that woman must have a vagina. And this very vagina, number one is that the vagina should be open to access the sperm to be delivered into it. Okay? Just like in a number of occasions where you have some women, their vagina is closed. And the commonest cause of it is iatrogeny. What I mean by iatrogeny is something that is caused by ignorance. You see some people that, I have a case of a woman, unfortunately because she had fibroid, she went somewhere, they gave her something and they leave like son and asked her to insert it into her vagina, that the fibroid will disappear. Regrettably, the vagina got closed and gummed together. That is the end of the show. She will not be able to achieve pregnancy because delivery of the sperm will be impaired. Okay? So, if there is a case of congenital problem where there is no vagina, like vaginal atresia, or something that happened that the vagina does not have access, is a problem. Okay, now let's look at also the metabolic or the chemical aspect of the vagina. The vagina is indeed acidic. Okay, but a woman also should be in position to have enough vaginal lubrication, particularly during intercourse, because those fluids help to dilute the acidity of the vagina to enable the sperm to survive. That's on the aspect of the biochemical contribution to the issue of vagina, because if the vagina is very, very acidic, the tendency of many of the sperm dying there is also possible. Though a man is expected to have millions of sperm in order to withstand such a hostile environment. Be that as it may, that is one thing that you should be. The woman must have a vagina that is opening, well lubricated, as a matter of fact. And also, if you put your hand through the vagina, you will meet a place like the tip of the nose. It is called the cervix. If you have a look at this right now, this particular mouth is from there the menses come out, and also from there the sperm goes in. All right. So in that particular case, a woman should be able to be seeing period just to be sure that that particular opening is free. And that's also, if there is a blockage of that very place, the sperm may not be able to go inside. All right, like in the case of what is called cervical stenosis, such could happen. But these are something that the doctor should be able, by reason of evaluation, be able to get those pictures right. Now, most importantly is that every woman who has the potential of being a mother must have what is called the womb or the uterus medically. That uterus or the womb is where the baby stays. And I will show you something that will amaze you about that same womb we are talking about here. Most times, nobody sees the womb. Sometimes you hear all manner of trash. People will go and say, oh, come on, I went to somewhere. They say that my womb fall, and that my womb, they have to reset my womb. They have to adjust. It's a crazy lies. Deception per excellence. He say if the blind leads the blind, both of them will fall into a ditch. All right? Listen and listen good. Nobody could access your womb, because as God designed this very womb we are talking about, the size of your womb could be likened to the fist of your own hand as a woman. And as God made this, is that particular fist of your hand, which is the size of your normal womb, should be behind a bone here that is called pubic symphysis. Is a hide behind it in such a manner that even when you hit a woman directly here, that bone protects the womb. Okay, so nobody could be in position to have access to your womb and say, I'm turning your womb and setting your womb. Deception per excellence, I tell you. The truth of the matter is that you could only touch the womb if there be something that happened to it that makes it to start expanding, like the case of adenomyosis, or the case of fibroid, or the case of pregnancy, or something related to that. Besides that, you can't touch a woman's womb. Get that very clear, because it's a very ugly deception going on in our society today. All right. Now, this very womb we are talking about is very significant. In 2013, we had a 60-year-old woman that delivered 2 boys. And in 2017, we had a 61-year-old one that delivered 2 boys and a girl, triplet. And what we keep on, how could these ones be able to achieve pregnancy, considering they have passed through all manner of the negatives, about reproductive calendar? Be that as it may, the reason is that the new technology in the aspect of achieving pregnancy says, as long as a woman has a good womb, Listen and listen again. As long as a woman has a good womb, she stands a chance of being a mother. Only time and chance could happen to it. And this is what I want to show you right now. With the introduction of a technology called hysteroscopy, it gives the doctor the opportunity now to have a good feel, understanding on the state of a woman's womb, which under normal circumstances before now you can only end up in vaginal examination, and there's not much you can do. But the introduction of this hysteroscopy could be able to give us the content of what the womb carries. Now have a look at this particular womb. This good, beautiful. Listen, look this. You can see the inside of this very womb looking quite good, very, very nice. Okay. You can see the capillary state of this very womb. This is exactly where the baby stays. The womb, you can see the walls also very smooth and also looking reddish. That is an excellent womb. As a matter of fact, this woman can get pregnant on a sure bet. All right? Now, let's have a look at this also. You can have a look at this. Compare this particular one and the former one you have. You find out that this particular womb is near decay. A lot of infection in there. This womb has gotten so bad. There is no what is called that endometrium that makes that very other one smooth. This woman will not be able to achieve pregnancy. But when you look at her, she looks fine. All right? But what's going on here? She's not seeing it. That is one of the things that in the proper evaluation of a woman, hysteroscopy of evaluating that woman, it gives the ultimate information with respect to what next and how next to go about it. All right? And if you look at this, of course, it's very unfortunate that this kind of a thing could happen. So this woman could only benefit from what is called surrogacy. All right? That is also a very good option that is all happening in our own time also. Let's have a look at this also. You can see this particular womb. The inside is looking quite good. But if you look very closely, you will now see a fibroid seated right inside. Like also another one here. You find that you can see a lot of fibroid all seated where the baby, as a matter of fact, ought to see. So what happened in this kind of a woman is that even if she gets pregnant, this woman may not be able to achieve pregnancy one, or even when the pregnancy occurs. On the attachment of the baby here, if the fibroid will say, okay, come on, get away from here. What are you doing here? Then we have repeated miscarriages. Those spontaneous abortion can happen as a result of fibroid that is seated inside. It is called submucous fibroid, or even this kind of pedunculated one that is right inside the womb. So this is one of the things. Remember that these people we are looking at here, they are all normal human beings. Come on. They are all normal women. Everything is cool. You can't see it from outside. So that's why I always recommend that we start from the known before we go to the unknown. Don't say witches, demons, attack, someone is after me and all that. Start from the known. Get to know what actually went wrong. Upon which you can now go to the unknown when necessary. But thank God there's always one God there that is above all gods standing in our favor. All right? Now, can we look at this one also? Now, I will tell you something about this very case because it's quite a very unique one. This was a case of a marriage that have lasted for quite several years. And unfortunately, this was an abortion that was done several years before marriage. And unfortunately, the bones of those incomplete abortion was still in the baby. You can have a look at the bones. Okay, you can see it very clearly right now. This is one of the things that could happen. And several years of infertility can befall a marriage like this because of what? Ignorance or not being properly evaluated. Let's also look at this one. You can see what is called uterine synechia. You can see, look at this one very well now. You can see that the womb gum together. Okay, you can see the hysteroscopy scissors cutting, okay? You cutting it. Now, you can see the inner side of this woman's womb because there was something that gummed together. The endometrium, the surfaces of endometrium, this could happen as a result of trauma, maybe issue of Abortion could be in position to scrape off the inside of the womb. If it gums together, it will be in position to affect this woman. And one of the things you could see the problem that has to do with the issue of menses not flowing nicely, or menses flowing very poorly, or menses not coming at all. Such a thing could happen here. And of course, you can't be thinking of pregnancy in a situation like this. You get that? Because even if there is a fertilization, it will hang on air. You will not be able to have a direct surface where it should be in position to lie. This is when you could hear doctors say that this particular woman, he has a case of Asherman syndrome. It's actually a name of one Joseph Asherman that discovered this very situation in 1963. So it's called Asherman syndrome. As you could hear some doctors say that, you could also hear doctors say that you have a case of uterine synechia. That's a gamming together. Also, doctors, you also hear them say that you have what is called amenorrhea traumatica. Maybe if you are not seeing your period, that is as a result of trauma done on the womb, for which the womb gum together, and it's called amenorrhea traumatica. So whichever one you will hear your doctor say is also giving an indication that something happened inside this womb that made it glue together and causing some of the problems you may have. You get that? So that is one unique thing that we have to be in position to appreciate about the womb of a woman. Stay tuned, I'll be right back. And when I come back, we look at these very wonderful words you keep hearing about blood fallopian tube. Oh, my fallopian tube is this, is black, is that. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Your infertility treatment will always end in frustration if you do not know the cause before you treat. When you hear a doctor say you have bilateral blood fallopian tubes, he's simply saying that it is impossible, medically speaking, for you to get pregnant naturally. Seek advanced fertility treatment if you have blood fallopian tubes. Hear this: when you lose money, you lose something. But when you lose your health, you lose everything. Spend money for your health to keep you going. Glaucoma causes irreversible blindness. Give your eyes professional attention. Don't be deceived. Ignoring medical reports and bombarding heaven is a demonstration of foolishness. You need your medical report to authenticate the miracle of God in your life. Go to hospital for your testimony. Say, I hear.
You and Your Health with Dr. Richard Okoye.
Welcome back. I do hope this has been a blessing to you. Listen and listen go. The purpose of this particular video is to help you realize what your academic, religious, and traditional background may have denied you. It's a burden that, if you look at the level of infertility in our society today, is so disheartening that even when you get to the churches and the pastor will just ask, who are those looking for the fruit of the womb, the entire congregation will come out. Prayers will be done, yet it seems as if nothing is happening. And you know why it's happening? It's because God said, ye pray and did not receive. Not because you didn't express faith towards what you pray, but because you pray out of point, you pray amiss. So, and he said, my people are destroyed because they lack knowledge. And that's why we have this very burden to be in position to shift this very deep insight to you. What's the essence? When you know the cause of your problem, it is easy for you to get the solution. Irrespective of the cause, you can even plan. But when you do not know, you will be moving up and down, drinking a lot of it. There happened to be a woman recently. She had the issue of infertility. Moving up and down, they got her into one place, they gave her some concussion, and she took this concussion, and the concussion perforated her kidney. Her kidney was just full of what is called polycystic kidney, and eventually this lady died. On the cause of searching for help in the aspect of her fertility challenge, she has found herself today in the grave. So that is why you need to be empowered. You need to know. Nobody should deceive you anymore. And that's why I'm pouring out my heart to be in position to share this with you. Not just for your own consumption, but also for us to build a healthy society, a healthy family, and a happy marriage. As God instituted it right from day one, they met together and say, I love you, and the other say, I love you too. Okay. Now, we've been able just to talk about the issue that has to affect a woman's ability to achieve pregnancy. And we look at the issue of the vagina, we look at the cervical factor, we look at also the aspect of the womb. But now we're going to talk about as the fourth factor, and that has to do with the factor of fallopian tube. You know, many people don't understand the implication of that very small, tiny structure. Now, I will tell you something. The fallopian tube is so important. It doesn't contribute anything with your menses and all that. It is like a passage, a connection between where your egg is coming from, called the ovary, and also where the womb is, where the baby will stay eventually. So that very connection is where the egg and the sperm meet to form a baby. Okay. And this particular fallopian tube has some unique features, very unique features that could help pregnancy to happen. Because when the pregnancy occurs in the first time, it's not in the womb, it's not outside the womb, it is in the fallopian tube. That is the first place where fertilization occurs. And you see what? I will show you, apart from being a pipe, there are other things that happen inside the fallopian tube. Number one, every good fallopian tube should be able to have what is called cilia. Cilia is like the legs of millipede, just the legs of millipede lining the inside of that particular fallopian tube. That's the pipe. I will tell you something. Have a look at this. Okay. If you have a look at it right now, you will discover that this is inside the pipe of the fallopian tube. What is doing right now, you can see those things that is just moving like a wave, like the legs of millipede. This structure is so essential to aspect of fertility. Where it is absent, there will be no pregnancy. How? Because it is this particular movement that will help to move the sperm. As you can see some of them right now. Have a look at this one. You can see the sperm being carried, is helping the sperm to move. When the fertilization of the baby occurs inside this fallopian tube, it is also the movement of this particular cilia that will enable the egg and also helps the fertilized egg, which is from the beginning of life, to move down to the womb. That is to say, it is this cilia that enables the sperm to move further towards the egg. It is also what propels the egg to come to the inside, the middle from the ovary. And it's inside the fallopian tube that the sperm and the egg meet to form a baby. Therefore, these cilia serve like the tire or the wheels that propels the sperm, propels the egg to come together, also propels the fertilized egg, which is the beginning of a baby's life, to move and move and move, and then push it inside the womb where it will stay and form a baby. I do hope you appreciate this very one right now. Now, when you are looking about, they say, I have done HAG, or I have done tests, they say that my fallopian tube is open, yet you are not getting pregnant, it is not enough. We have to look at their husband's sperm count, how the quantity and the qualitative nature of your husband's sperm count, okay, and pregnancy is not happening. Further questions need to be asked. All right? Now, concerning this very fallopian tube, there are things that could happen to it. Number one is that in a case of when there's a congenital abnormality where that cilia is absent, there's a case that is called ciliary dyskinesia, or in another terminology, they call it immobile ciliary syndrome, or they call it a particular name also that is called cartilaginous syndrome. Whichever one, what it means that that particular cilia could be absent or sometimes could be in position to be immobile. Instead of moving, it may just be just lying low. And in that particular case, it will not be possible for pregnancy to occur, because if the egg comes out, nobody to roll it down. If the sperm gets tired, nobody to roll it down. So in that particular case, the ciliary factor could be in position to lead to infertility. All right. Another thing that could happen to that cilia also is that if there be an infection, but this infection may not have blocked the fallopian tube, but may cause what is called sapingitis, the inflammation of the fallopian tube, which may now destroy those cilia. If destroy a part, it could lead to what is called ectopic pregnancy, whereby the fertilized egg can be pushed and pushed. Where there is no cilia, they will stand there and start growing. And what will happen? Pregnancy will grow in the fallopian tube and burst because it can't make progress there. You have what is called ectopic pregnancy. You could also have a situation whereby there is a bloating of the fallopian tube called hydrosalpinx. That is to say that fallopian tube is damaged. It's not going to perform the function. So when you hear that you have issue of blocked fallopian tubes, issue of sapingitis or hydrosalpinx, in that particular case, you should realize that pregnancy may not only be delayed, there may not be one by virtue of natural conception.
Thank you for watching this program. For sponsorship and support, call 0810-000-0851 or 0810-000-0651. WhatsApp on 0803-710-8150 or visit our website at www.civilifeint.com. You can also stay connected with us through any of these our social media accounts. Join Civil Life Partners to build a healthy family and a healthy society.